Lisa Jacks wasn't given the chance to have the childhood she deserved. Failed by a system that was supposed to protect her, years later Lisa has found the courage to take on those she believes let her down. She's up for one very big fight.
You learn to bury it, but it's always there.
The situation with docs is not slightly improving, they're going backwards.
Overstretched family services workers, they walked off the job. They'd had enough of being underfunded. Too many children were slipping through the cracks. Now comes a case that highlights their cause.
I'm taking on the state, I'm taking on the government.
The journey through childhood for Lisa Jacks was nothing short of traumatic.
People that would even, as far as to say, how did you survive that, Lisa? How did you get through? I don't know. Resilience?
She was a child left to fend for herself, let down by a New South Wales government system that should have led her to safety.
They failed to take appropriate action. They failed to take me to a doctor. They failed to put me into appropriate counselling, ongoing counselling. They denied me access to my biological father.
Now aged 40, Lisa is taking the government's Department of Community Services, or DOCS, to court seeking compensation. She's demanding the institution takes responsibility for failing her. Lisa recently won the first stage of her case, but DOCS is playing hardball.
I've never seen an aggressive attitude like that from any other institution, such as DOCS's attitude towards Lisa in that trial.
So what went on at home?
There was no food in the house. I didn't have the mother that got up and made breakfast in the morning and did my hair and sent me off to school and wished me a good day. I had an alcoholic, abusive mother.
The shocking details surrounding her childhood were documented throughout 400 pages of a DOCS file. Have you been through this page by page?
Yes.
Because I'm sure some of it would be quite graphic in its detail.
It's very graphic. Many tears have been shed.
From the age of 3 months to 15, she was subjected to a home life that will forever cause her inner turmoil.
Day to day, you can be doing something and an awful memory comes into your mind and it's very raw.
From 1974, the year she was born, until 1978, DOCS workers paid at least 83 visits to her house. In 1985, DOCS recorded that Lisa's mother may have caused her to use illicit drugs. In 1984 and once again in 1985, Lisa's school notified DOCS that Lisa may have been sexually abused at home. The list of evidence goes on. Year after year, the alarm was raised over her well-being. At the very least, Lisa says DOCS should have removed her from the house.
Although they were frequently monitoring the family situation, they were completely oblivious and blind to the fact that this little girl was being abused.
Lisa ran away from home on several occasions. Where DOCS was failing, her childhood friend, Jenny, helped pick up the pieces. When Lisa was forced to go home by DOCS workers, did she ever run away from there to your house and come crying to escape it? Did you ever witness that?
Yeah, all the time she would, come down and tell me that she'd been brought back again.
During that period of your life, did you feel lost?
Yes, because I wouldn't go home. They kept taking me home. At one stage, I jumped out of the car. I had to wind the window down along the main road and unlock the door from the outside so I could get out because they were taking me back home after I was begging them not to take me back.
Lisa's case has been playing out in the district court where DOCS has been trying to prevent her from seeking compensation. Their lawyers have been using a legal avenue to argue that her case was far too long ago for them to be held liable. Lisa's lawyer, Romina Kambar from Artemis Legal, says DOCS has admitted it was under-resourced at the time.
There's a defence to negligence that a public authority can bring, and that is to say that they weren't negligent because they were under-resourced at the time. Now, DOCS have raised that as a defence in this case.
After a 5-day trial, the judge agreed there was enough evidence to support Lisa's case that Docs failed to protect her. The judge was even critical of Doc's lawyers for wasting a day and a half of extensive cross-examination where they continuously branded her a liar.
They're attacking her credibility and trying to demoralise her by calling her a liar, that the abuse never happened.
Children today are still being put through to that due to the same lack of actions that Docs failed to do during the 70s, the 80s. Nothing's changing. We're still hearing reports of children turning up dead because of resources and funds.
Stop the cat!
Recently, overstretched Docs workers have been calling for change too. This year they walked off the job, protesting cuts to funding and staff numbers by family services in New South Wales.
Unless somebody higher up in the department acknowledges that either new policies need to be created or more staff, more funding, more resources, we're going to have the same problems occurring 20, 30 years down the track. I have no doubts. It's preventable.
I don't know many people that would have the energy even to do this, because Docs have literally dragged this out for as long as they can, and they have really tried their best to wear her down, so she'll just give in and give it up.
And yet, in another blow from Docs, the authority is now appealing the case.
Docs is perfectly happy to waste a lot of taxpayers' money on lawyers, then pay people like Lisa a modest amount of compensation.
It's not about me. We need change in a department that hasn't worked for a very long time, and my story is proof.
And a spokesperson from Docs told us the department wouldn't comment on Lisa's case because it was before the courts. Lisa maintains she will keep fighting.